Okay, once we've got the surface of the Sundeck finished, put down, we've got the canth strip on, the next step is to put on the flashing. The flashing is basically just to make the edge of the Sundeck, working on it, easier. What it does is it goes over the edge and allows the rain that goes on the Sundeck to just run off, come off, and drip away from the rest of the wood so you don't end up rotting out your fascia. We sell fiberglass flashing because it's the best when working with fiberglass. When you have your fiberglass layer on top, you end up getting a very nice bond to the fiberglass flashing because they're the same materials, and it also expands and contracts at the same rate. When you're dealing with weather conditions, if you had, say, a metal flashing, as often people do because they buy the metal flashing before coming to see us, the fiberglass layer and the metal layer can move at different rates across the surface of the Sundeck, just with the sunlight, changing weather during the seasons, and eventually you can work a crack that water can get into and come underneath and rot the plywood out. That's one of the only ways a fiberglass Sundeck is going to fail prematurely. I'm just going to mark the Sundeck, mark the corners I should say, and mark the flashing so that I can then fit the flashing, make a nice 90-degree angle on the corners, and then I'm going to finish the corners so that it is a seamless edge to your Sundeck. Just like the top should be a seamless Sundeck as well. So on this side, well, I don't really need to mark anything on this side. I'm just going to line that up with the edge. And then I'm going to make a mark on this side, just where the edge needs to be and where the edge is. So I've marked it where the edge of the plywood is, and then what I'm going to do is take some tin snips, take a straight cut across here, down the flashing, and then I'll take a separate cut using a little square, right angle square, and make the 45-degree cut. And then I'll do the same on the edges, and we should have a nice mitered corner here. So I'm just making the cut. You can see how easily it cuts with tin snips. And these you can buy pretty much probably at any Home Depot, hardware store, probably have some kicking around. These are ones that cut straight. You can sometimes get a left or a right cut. Probably even a heavy pair of scissors will work just fine. So now that I've made the cut, I'll just double check that. And that looks fine. So now I'm going to do the mitered angles. Show this so you can see the mitered angles. And this is just a little piece of a geometry kit that you might have used in elementary or high school, but it gives me the 45-degree angle that I need. And then we'll just cut on that angle a little further back because I don't mind a gap. What I'm really trying to avoid is an overlap. Now we'll do the other side. Mark the angle. And cut your piece. And I'll see if that fits. It's a little off, but we should be able to adjust it. Okay, so I've got that. I'm looking at it, looks right. I'm going to go ahead and do the other two sides, and then I'm going to show how you can finish the corners to make them look professionally finished, just blended right in. Just marking the angle. and making the cut. Okay, we have an angle that fits nicely there. Grab my last piece. And I'm just cutting straight through again, doing it in a two-step process, making sure everything fits together well. And then cutting the angle. And a lot of this comes down to, yes, it takes time, but you'll notice I'm not nailing anything down just yet. And part of the philosophy of doing a good fiberglass Sundeck is to take your time doing the preparation. It's a little more involved than painting, and it's a little intimidating for somebody that hasn't done it before. But the key is to take your time, do the preparation, do it one step at a time, and you'll be fine. And that's why I'm just making sure everything fits here, doing the angles, checking them all together, and then I'll go to the next step.